So I might have to do a two-part video for this, but JiDion has officially announced that he's going to be interviewing EDP445. Now I'm going to give my quick thoughts on what I hope happens, because I do think this is an important conversation to have. But he posted this on Instagram, just saying interview with EDP. Even uploaded this video, which we'll watch since it's like a minute. So yeah, let's watch it real quick.
Yo, what's good with y'all boys, man? As you guys can see by the title of this video, we are going to be conducting an interview with EDP445 himself. Make sure you guys join in on the stream. It's going to be exclusively on Rumble at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you guys look at your time zones so you can figure out what time zone you're in and you can join the live stream. But the cool thing about this interview, though, is after the interview is concluded, we will be doing a public Q&A in my Discord where you guys will personally be able to ask him a question yourself. So if you guys want to ask him a question or you just want to listen in intently, either join my Discord, link down in the description below, or watch the stream on Rumble. I will be streaming a little bit on YouTube, but once the interview conducts, I will be in the YouTube stream, and it will be exclusively on Rumble. Again, that's going to be at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Figure out your guys' time zone, and I will be seeing you guys later today.
Let me just bring up a couple of things before I get into what I hope happens. So let me click out that video. So here's what I hope happens. What I hope happens is JiDion actually presses EDP, whether it's him or whether it's the people asking him questions. I really hope they press EDP, because at EDP is a P word. And I'm sorry if I'm silencing myself. My last few videos have been demonetized. And look, I want to make some money off YouTube, so I'm going to be very careful with the words I say. But EDP is a known P word, and it's not even debatable. It's a fact. If you can't accept that fact, which I've seen some people actually defend EDP, but if you can't accept that fact, then stay away from me, because you might just be weird yourself. But EDP is a known P word, and I really hope that JiDion presses him, because one issue I've had with a lot of the interviews is whether you're talking about Daz, Gaz, Dom, especially this guy, Daz, Gaz, Dom. My issue was they were so charitable. And I know it's difficult, because why would EDP go on an interview where he's going to have to answer these questions in front of thousands of people, maybe even millions. And now especially it will be millions now, because JiDion's insanely far more popular than the other guys. The only guy I'll say that, I don't know how many interviews he's done. I've only been able to find these two. The only guy I'll give any credit to is Cameron, because Cameron actually conducted it pretty well. Freaking interview. He even paid him, which is another thing I'm gonna get into in a bit. But at least in this interview, Cameron did try to press him a bit. He wasn't able to, because EDP did tell him, hey, if you press me enough, I will leave. And he's only got a limited amount of time. I really hope that JiDion's able to press him. And I also hope that EDP doesn't, pussy out. Like, I really hope EDP actually answers like a man. He's not a man, but at least answer like one. At least answer for what you've done. Because look, you're guilty regardless, but at least say something. And I want to see how is he coping with all this? How is he gonna try to deny it? And I really hope there's almost no way out. I'm assuming it's through online. I completely doubt EDP would even give himself a chance to go to an interview where the questions are going to be about if he did something to a minor. And by the way, EDP is a bad person. If you support EDP, then you're bad yourself too. Just going to clarify that. But what I hated about this Daz Gazdon one, which is insanely the most popular interview that EDP's had, ever since the whole Cupcake incident. My issue with this interview is Dom was way too charitable to EDP, way too. And it became uncomfortable, because I remember watching like 30 minutes into it, and it felt like EDP was just a normal guy who's just vibing with them. Like, it just kind of felt like another panelist rather than a guy who actually tried to meet up with a 13-year-old for unspeakable things. And that really annoys me, because I don't know how someone has the balls to talk to somebody who did what he did and give him any respect. And I have no idea how someone can even allow that. And I know Dom did it for views and all that, but still, it was incredibly discharitable. And the only part of that interview that I respected was when Pat God showed up. And I don't like these roast kinds of channels, like these Pat Gods, these guys who their entire premise is they roast somebody. I never really liked them, because to me, I feel like you don't really bring much entertainment besides like 30 seconds of, okay, you're entertaining for this time. But I did like that part, because at least at that part, at least they're, I mean, I'm not saying you gotta make fun of EDP. I'm just saying at least do something, confront him on something, press him on some questions. So I'll give Cameron credit here. Now with JiDion, I'm a little worried for a couple reasons. Number one, JiDion's him and Aiden Ross have one thing in common. They aren't someone who want to be in like arguments or debate. And I don't like Aiden Ross, by the way, especially for the things he's been saying and all that, especially with how charitable he is to Nick Fuentes. But one thing that they're both very similar in is when they have a panelist or when they have a guest, they're very relaxed with them, regardless of who it is, and they're very calm, relaxed. Even when JiDion speaks to Sneeko, a lot of times JiDion's very, and I'm fine with that because I know him and Sneeko are friends, but still, I feel like sometimes he doesn't press him enough or anything like that. It's just kind of like they more care about getting that person on stream. So I'm a little worried that could happen with EDP. But I will say the one thing I'll also give to JiDion is he has been very full on trying to expose predators. I mean, twice with Skeeter Gene, he was able to do 2 times catching a predator. He's confronted predators in front of him. He posted one on his channel where he exposed 2 of them. So I'll give him that credit. It does seem like he cares. And obviously everyone knows EDP. He's basically the face of predators at this point. So I'm going to give him credit on that. But one thing that really worries me is that one thing that Cameron brought up, and Oompa Bill also tried to interview EDP, but they both had to pay EDP. I believe Cameron had to pay him roughly around $100 to $500, probably less, I don't remember. And then Oompa Bill tried to pay him, and that interview never happened. But with JiDion, the fact that if you saw the video, JiDion said that, yeah, they're going to be taking in questions. The one thing that worries me is that the reason why EDP is willing to take questions from other people is because JiDion paid him a really sizable amount of money that he would be willing to accept that. And to me, I feel like that's more dangerous because it's like you're giving him money. He is a predator. He doesn't deserve to have money. He should be behind bars. No one can deny that. But to give him money, I don't know. Like at least before, when he was going through his 2 years of struggle, at least then he was struggling to find a job. I think he had to sell his car. He had to leave his apartment. At least he did suffer. But to me, to give him money, it's almost like not letting him actually go through that pain, because he does deserve to go through this pain. I'm sorry. I don't care. I'm not sympathetic over these kinds of people. If you did something like this, you don't deserve any amount of charitability. And I feel like JiDion, having a big subscriber count, being a YouTuber, and I will say the one benefit that comes from this is, how does EDP respond when he's pressed on this, which I hope he is pressed. If he doesn't get pressed, then L JiDion. But I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see and find out. It's just that part really concerns me, that EDP basically is getting a big paycheck from all of this, when really he shouldn't. There's a lot of other better creators than him out there who are funnier, better, and most of all, do not try to do things to children. EDP did that, or at least he tried to, and he's a known predator. But I will say this picture is kind of funny, seeing the cupcake right there. I would hope, and I completely doubt it, I would hope it's an in-person thing. Makes things much more difficult for EDP or Bryant Moreland. I would prefer it be in person, but I'm also fine with it being online. Again, I don't see any reason why EDP would ever even fly out to get asked these questions. I don't know, man, but I do hope at the end of the day what happens is JiDion presses him and EDP is forced to answer. But realistically, what I think is gonna happen is Brian got paid good money. This is done online, and JiDion's gonna. And I'm not saying JiDion has to go in screaming and being angry. No, because that's not gonna work. You're just gonna kick it. You're just gonna cause Brian to want to leave. But what I hope does happen is that JiDion does say, hey, you went to go meet up with this person, that person, this, and that. You know, how do you answer to all of this? And then bring up the evidence, because there's a lot of evidence against EDP. I will say I do hope that at one point JiDion brings in Skeeter Gene. I feel like a lot of the predator catching channels do things so horribly. Chet Goldstein, I give him respect for at least exposing EDP, but I feel like if it had been a better person, EDP would have been behind bars. I feel like Skeeter Gene, that guy is the best predator catcher. There's no one out there that does it better than him. And I really think that, I really hope JiDion does, because he's at least friends, or they've talked many times. They've met in person many times. They've caught predators already 3 times, I believe. So I would hope that at some point Skeeter Gene gets on the call, maybe even get Chet on the call. Even though I'm not a fan, I don't like him, and I don't like how he conducted everything. You know, maybe get him on and talk to EDP. But I mean, again, I doubt EDP is ever going to admit to what he did. Clearly, he's doing a lot of backpedaling. But hey, I'm just gonna hope that JiDion conducts a good interview. But at the same time, I'm not confident with JiDion's interviewing skills. He's a great YouTuber, one of the GOATs. I love watching his videos, although he doesn't upload as consistent as he used to. He's from Houston. I'm from Houston, so I've been watching him since before he was famous. So I'm gonna hope for the best, but at the same time, knowing that the real reason why EDP is here is because he's gonna get a lot of money from it, and JiDion's gonna get a lot of viewership from it. To me, it almost feels a little immoral, and I feel like EDP should be a guy that we just kind of let rot, not let him get a job, not let him do this, not let him do that. That would have been the better scenario, but I feel like he's going to get a good payday from this. But again, I mean, that's why I would hope it's in person. I completely doubt it. But if it was in person, it'd be much easier to confront him, because where is he going to escape? You know? But anyways, those are my quick thoughts on this. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about this. Do you hope things are good? And also, I'm going to do a 2-part video. Tomorrow, I'm going to, I don't know, break down the interview. Hope everything goes well. But hey, till next time. See you on the next one. Ciao.
Yeah, we broke and we know it, we don't act like all these other rappers acting like they got racks. Borrow cars, but we whipping in my mom's truck. 99 full, but act like it's a double R. Yeah, we broke and we know it, we don't act like all these other rappers acting like they got racks. Borrow cars, but we whipping in my mom's truck. 99 full, but act like it's a